Let me demonstrate with a story. They said that one time, this man was given a surprise bonus by his boss, by the supervisor in the company that he works for. One day the company decided that they're going to give $1,000 bonus to the people. And when people have money and it was not expected, it feels good. Feels good. You go there and you have your own plans. I will do this and I will buy this. So this man gets the $1,000 in his hands and he is thinking to himself, I am going to buy this and my wife is going to be very happy with this and I will buy my children this and I will buy them that. So he is dreaming about how to spend the $1,000. On the way, he was approached by a woman. She was holding a young baby in her hands and she was crying. And she said, sir, my baby is dying. I need help. I cannot afford to buy any medication for my baby. My baby is dying. And the man was so moved by this woman and this scene of the baby about to die that he put his hands in his pocket and he gave her all $1,000. He went home and he told the story to his family. You know, the boss gave me $1,000 today, the supervisor, and on the way I found out that, you know, there was this woman and she came to me and she begged me and her baby was dying and I gave her this money. So the family looked at him and they said, Dad or Father, you have been fooled. They said, you have been fooled. Somebody has fooled you. And they were laughing at him. His children said, Father, idiot, you've been fooled. This woman played a trick on you. You've been had. So he was very upset to the reaction of his family. And as they're watching the news, one part of the news came in, and that is, a woman was caught today by the police scheming people out of money, holding a baby, saying that the baby is dying and the baby is not dying, and this woman was fooling people. So the family looked at him and they said, see, we told you, you have been fooled. The woman has fooled you. And the father looked at them and he said, this is the best news I have heard. And they said, what are you talking about? Somebody just stole $1,000 from you and you're telling us that this is the best news that you have heard? He said, don't you get it? The baby is not dying. The baby is not dying. He said, this is really what matters. The baby is not dying. I gave the $1,000 because I wanted the baby not to die. And if I got the news that the baby is not dying, then this is the best news that I have heard of the day. See, brothers and sisters, we can speak so much Islam this and Islam that. But the beauty of Islam is when Islam is implemented. We can say all the nice things that we want, but by the end of the day, it is not about what we say, but wallahi, it really is about what we do. Let me conclude by this story. Because believe it or not, anytime, any day, we are constantly giving people clues about who we are. We are constantly displaying what kind of character we hold. So one day, this man was driving a very nice car. Maybe some of you have heard the story before. It's a very, very beautiful story. He parked his car. And then when he came out from his house or from wherever he was, he found this young boy walking around his car. He was admiring the car. What a beautiful car. And he was talking to the car. Wow, this is really beautiful. This is really nice. And he was touching the car and massaging the car. And this is a beautiful car. And look at the lights and look at this. And so the man, the owner of the car, came out and he said, you like it, son? And he said, sir, I love it. This is the most beautiful car I have ever seen. So the old man said, my brother gave it to me as a gift. So the young boy immediately said, sir, I wish I can be like your brother. He said, I wish I can be like your brother. He did not say, I wish I can have a brother like you. Isn't that what we would say? We would all have said, I wish I had a brother like you. But what does he choose to say? I wish I was like your brother. That is what we call a beautiful display of character. Character is important, brothers and sisters. Must have conscience, compassion, consideration, control, confidence, and courage. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Jazakallah, Brother Yasir, for your excellent presentation. It was certainly a timely awakening for Muslims, because as we say, it is your character, and based on your character, how we behave, we make the presentation of what Islam is. Alhamdulillah, we have learnt a lot from this talk. Now we would have the open question answer session. There are 3 mics in the auditorium, 1 in the front, 1 in the rear on my right for the brothers, and 1 on the left in the rear for the sisters. We request our questioners to kindly line up at the mics to put forward their questions. We would allow the first question from the mic in the ladies section. Kindly keep your questions on the topic, make it brief, and you may ask only 1 question at a time. Non-Muslims, of course, would be given preference over Muslims to put forward their questions. Volunteers may kindly allow them to do so. Yes, sister.
Jazakallah for your wonderful talk. You spoke of 2 C's that I find very confusing sometimes. One is courage and the other is compassion. Sometimes the people we love do not want to hear the right things that we say and they get hurt. Which C should be given preference at that time? Courage or compassion?
That is an excellent question. And usually, as speakers, you appreciate a question that indicates that somebody has really been following what you're talking about. You may not have an answer to the question, but nevertheless you appreciate the question itself. Which C do you give preference to? When it comes to dealing with those who are around us, I like to say that there are 4 principles that ought to guide us. Number 1, 4 principles when we are dealing with our loved ones. Principle number 1, the person is more important than the point. Many times, we put so much emphasis at the point that we end up losing the person. What good is the point if you lost the person? So what we want to do is, we want to delay making the point, but save the person. Save the person. The person is more important than the point. Secondly, being kind is more important than being right. Sometimes we feel that because I am right, that's it. No, it's not necessarily that way. Because in the process, as you are right, it does not mean that you are not kind. But rather, you are also kind in the process. So the person is more important than the point. Being kind is more important than being right. And then also with our loved ones, mean what you say and say what you mean. Mean what you say and say what you mean. I will go down here right now, and some of you will come and they will shake my hands and they will say, MashaAllah, this was a beautiful presentation, but deep in your heart you think it stinks. You may think it was not good, but yet you come and you shake my hand, MashaAllah, that was very good. You said it, but you don't mean it, and what you really mean, it was never said. So say what you mean and mean what you say. And sometimes when we deal with our loved ones, we tend to be harsh on them. That is not acceptable. I remember one time, after the Eid khutbah, we said, please, when you go out after Eid, after the khutbah, we said, please hug your family, embrace your family members. So this young girl, 19-year-old girl, she came after the salah and she came to the imam and she said, Imam, I just want to say thank you for making this announcement. I am 19 years old. I don't ever remember my father ever hugging me before today. She said, I don't ever remember, ever, my father ever give me a hug or embrace me, and I am 19 before today. So when you made the announcement, in response to the announcement, he came and he hugged me. If it is an issue about principle, then courage comes first. If it is an issue that is personally, related to me personally, then I would say compassion goes first. When it's an issue of principle, there is no compromise. I'll be nice, I'll be kind, but there will be no compromise, and that takes courage. But if it is an issue that is related to me, it's something that is personal, I say compassionate takes precedent over the other C's. Allahu alam, Allah knows best.